Hi everyone, Helen Blunden here at Activate Learn on Twitter. Time for another book review, and this time round it's a small book. It's a library book called The Invisible Land by Hubert Mingarelli. Now, this book I read in one sitting. You can see how small it is. I didn't know anything about this author, and in fact, yesterday when I dashed into the local library, I only had 10 minutes and I rushed through the aisles and I picked this one out of the top shelf just simply because of the cover. So I had really no expectations. I didn't know or read the back cover. I didn't know anything about it. And sometimes it's the best books you find just by happenstance, eh? Alrighty, so what is The Invisible Land about? It is set in July 1945. It is just literally the end of World War II. The American liberators have come in to liberate the slave labor camps that were in Germany at the time, and there was certainly one in Dinslaken, which I had a look at after I read the book. And the liberators were there to basically, open the camps and get people back to safety. And they would have seen some ghastly, horrific scenes, and we get snippets of these, not in real detail, but usually it is, you get the feeling, there's the way this book is written, there's a lot of emotion there and post-traumatic stress syndrome of both the civilians, but also the American liberators who have come in to clear these sites as well. So the story is written from the point of view of the photographer. We don't know his name, and this photographer is there to take photos, any photos of just the life of Germany post World War II, and send them back to his newspaper. And really, all he wants to do, he doesn't want to go back home. All he wants to do is just take photos. But there's no real reason as to why he wants to do this. Although just by reading the book, you kind of glean as what that might be. Anyway, the story is that he is living in Dinslaken. His next door neighbor is General Collins, who is dealing with some of his own demons as well. And he sets off on a journey around Bavaria, taking with him a driver, a young corporal by the name of O'Leary, who also is, I would say he was undergoing some stressful situation, again, but we don't know the background to it. And one of the things that we find out is this corporal is a bit in angst simply because he came to the war late. He hasn't shot anyone, he hasn't been involved in the war effort at all. He just came late and he's not, on par with his peers. So he has this kind of inferiority complex. But there's a story behind also him fearing of going back home. So we've got both the driver and the photographer both fearing getting back home because of something that they need to find or do here in Germany. The whole mood of the book is such that there is no plot. Okay, there's no plot. It just goes. And initially, as I was reading this, I'm thinking, where's this going? What is it doing? Are they going to find their answers? And yet it just goes. So if you're someone who really needs some kind of structure or a plot, then this book might not be for you. However, at the same time, if you do read it, you actually are transported into another time and place, and a time and a place which was, I guess we see pictures of it, but luckily, hopefully, we would never ever experience ever again. You see, these people, the photographer, they're traumatized. The photographer had just come back from one of the slave labor camps and he saw bodies, dead bodies, corpses under a tarp that he constantly then has nightmares about. And same with the driver. So at the same time, we get snippets of them driving around Germany in the Bavarian region, wanting to knock on every house door and pull the Germans, who are also traumatized in their own way and fearful of these people, to take photos of them in their environment. So what I think the photographer was trying to do was try to capture something, because my reading of this book is that he's trying to come to terms and make sense as to why would humans do this to other humans? Why would they do the disgraceful, disgusting, horrific, ghastly things that he saw? And so I get this feeling that the reason he's photographing the people is he wants to find answers, and he's not going to stop until he gets the answer about why. Why do humans do this to other humans? But part of me thinks he's never going to get the answer. So they're rambling around, driving around, and getting into all sorts of different situations. But both of them end up still confused as each other. So the mood of this book is it's somber. It's somber, it's evocative, it's not in your face, in the sense that just by their actions and just by the words that are written, we automatically know what's going on. And one example was General Collins was frustrated that these German people were constantly asking him of things, and he had too much going on, and they were asking him that they want shoes to wear on their feet, and he goes, I don't have shoes. But then he says, oh no, hang on, I remember where I've seen shoes, a whole pile of shoes. So just from that quote, you kind of glean that these people are traumatized by the images that they have seen. And so I would say this book I would definitely read more of Hubert Mingarelli. I looked him up. This was actually a French book. It was written in French first, because the author is French. And when I looked into him, unfortunately, he had passed away last year in January, just before the COVID, with cancer. So he has some books that have been translated into English, all along the same theme. So look, this was a surprising find. One I would recommend. So this is The Invisible Land by Hubert Mingarelli. Okay, thanks for listening and thanks for watching. Bye for now.